The show is starting.
I feel the liftoff. The clock has started. Roger.
Due to the unpredictable nature of the Ask Dr. Hal show, Home Edition, some material may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
The finest in underground television.
Within the Christmas poem On the Morning of Christ's Nativity, John Milton, the Puritan poet, inserted this section, which is called the Hymn. It was the winter wild, while the heaven-born child, all meanly wrapped in the rude manger lies. Nature, in awe to him, had doffed her gaudy trim, with her great master so to sympathize. It was no season then for her to wanton with the sun, her lusty paramour. Only with speeches fair she woos the gentle air to hide her guilty front with innocent snow, and on her naked shame pollute with sinful blame the saintly veil of maiden white to throw, confounded that her Maker's eyes should look so near upon her foul deformities. But he, her fears to cease, sent down the meek-eyed Peace. She, crowned with olive green, came softly sliding down through the turning sphere, his ready harbinger, with turtle wing the amorous clouds dividing, and waving wide her myrtle wand, she strikes a universal peace through sea and land. No war or battle sound was heard the world around. The idle spear and shield were high uphung. The hooked chariot stood unstained by hostile blood. The trumpet spoke not to the armed throng, and kings sate still with awful eye, as if they surely knew their sovereign lord was by. But peaceful was the night wherein the Prince of Light his reign of peace upon this earth began. The winds with wonder whist, smoothly the waters kissed, whispering new love to the mild ocean, who now hath quite forgot to rave, while birds of calm sit brooding on the charmed wave. The stars, with deep amaze, stand fixed in steadfast gaze, bending one way their precious influence, and will not take their flight for all the morning light of Lucifer that often warned them thence, but in their glimmering orbs did glow, until their Lord himself bespake and bid them go. And though the shady gloom had given day her room, the sun himself withheld his wonted speed, and hid his head for shame, as his inferior flame the new enlightened world no more should need. He saw a greater sun appear than his bright throne or burning axle-tree should bear. The shepherds on the lawn, ere at the point of dawn, sat simply chatting in a rustic row. Full little thought they then that the mighty Pan was kindly come to live with them below, perhaps their loves, or else their sheep, was all that did their silly thoughts so busy keep. When such music sweet their hearts and ears did greet, as never was by mortal finger strook, divinely warbled voice, answering the stringed noise, and all their souls in blissful rapture took, The air, such pleasures loth to lose, with thousand echoes still prolongs each heavenly close. Nature, that heard such sound beneath the hollow round of Cynthia's seat, the airy region thrilling, now was almost won to find her part was done, and that her reign had here its last fulfilling. She knew such harmony alone could hold all heaven and earth in happier union. At last surrounds their sight a globe of circular light, that with long beams the shamefaced night arrayed, the helmed cherubim and sworded seraphim are seen in glittering ranks with wings displayed, harping in loud and solemn choir with unaffected notes to heaven's newborn air. Such music as, 'tis said, before was never made, but when of old the sons of morning sung, while the Creator great his constellations set, and the well-balanced world on hinges hung, and cast the dark foundations deep, and bid the weltering waves their oozy channel keep. Ring out, ye crystal spheres, once bless our human ears, if ye have powers to touch our senses so, and let your silver chime move in melodious time, and let the bass of heaven's deep organ blow, and with your ninefold harmony make up full consort of the angelic symphony. For if such holy song enwrap our fancy long, time will run back and fetch the age of gold, and speckled vanity will sicken soon and die, and leprous sin shall melt from earthly mold, and hell itself will pass away, and leave her dolorous mansions to the peering day. Yea, truth and justice then will down return to men, orbed in the rainbow and like glories wearing. Mercy shall sit between, throned in celestial sheen, with radiant feet, the tissued clouds down steering, and heaven, as at some festival, will open wide the gates of her high palace hall. But wisest fate says, no, this cannot yet be so. The babe lies yet in smiling infancy, that on the bitter cross must redeem our loss. So both himself and us to glorify, but first to those he chained in sleep, the wakeful trump of doom must thunder through the deep. With such a horrid clang as on Mount Sinai rang, when the red fire and mouldering clouds outbreak, the aged earth, aghast in terror from that blast, must from the surface to the center shake, when, at the world's last session, the dreadful judge in middle air shall spread his throne. And then, at last, our bliss full and perfect is. But now begins, for from this happy day the old dragon, underground in straighter limits bound, not half so far, casts his usurped sway, and wrath to see his kingdom fail, swinges the scaly horror of his folded tail. The oracles are dumb, no voice or hideous hum runs through the arched roof with words deceiving. Apollo from his shrine can no more divine, with hollow shriek the steep of Delphos leaving. No nightly trance or breathed spell inspires the pale-eyed priest from the prophetic cell. The lonely mountains o'er and the resounding shore, a voice of weeping heard, and loud lament, edged with poplar pale, From haunted spring and dale the parting genius is with sighing sent, with flower inwoven tresses torn, the nymphs in twilight shade of tangled thickets mourn. In consecrated earth and on the holy hearth, the lars and lemurs moan with midnight plaint. From urns and altars round, a drear and dying sound affrights the flamens at their service quaint, while the dull marble seems to sweat, while each peculiar power forgoes his wonted seat. Peor and Baalim forsake their temples dim with that twice-battered god of Palestine, and mooned Ashtaroth, heaven's queen and mother both, now sits not girt with tapers' holy shine. The Libyc Hammon shrinks his horn. In vain the Tyrian maids their wounded Tammuz mourn, and sullen Moloch fled, hath left in shadows dread his burning idol, all of blackest hue. In vain with cymbals ring they call the grisly king in dismal dance about the furnace blue. The brutish gods of Nile as fast, Isis and Oros and the dog Anubis haste. Nor is Osiris seen in Memphian grove or green, trampling the unshowered grass with lowings loud, nor can he be at rest within his sacred chest. Naught but profoundest hell can be his shroud. In vain with timbreled anthems dark, the sable-shrouded sorcerers bear his worshipped ark. He feels from Judah's land the dreaded infant's hand, the rays of Bethlehem blind his dusky eyne, nor other gods beside longer dare abide, not Typhon huge, ending in snaky twine. Our babe, to show his godhead true, can in his swaddling bands control the damned crew. So, when the sun in bed, curtained with cloudy red, pillows his chin upon an orient wave, the flocking shadows pale troop to the infernal jail. Each fettered ghost slips to his several grave, while the yellow-skirted fays fly after the night steeds, leaving their moon-loved maze. But see, the Virgin blessed hath laid her babe to rest. Time is our tedious song should here have ending. Heaven's youngest teamed star hath fixed her polished car, her sleeping Lord with handmaid lamp attending, and all about the courtly stable bright harnessed angels sit in order serviceable.
Let your head go. Move your back. Head.
Here before you is an opportunity to plumb the depths of the mysteries that confound and intrigue us. A chance to ask the big questions. Dr. Hal is not concerned with questions of trivial matters or of facts that are easily gathered elsewhere. Dr. Hal seeks the questions that transcend fact. He stands before you, ready to take questions that used to be brought to wise and aged sages on distant mountaintops. These questions can now be asked from the comfort of your living room. No Sherpas required. Simply direct your favorite web browser to our new and simple-to-use website, AskDrHalShow.com, or click the Ask Dr. Hal button below our live Twitch broadcast. You will be spirited away to the magical Co-Fee portal, where all you need do is submit your burning question in the handy message field, and assign a monetary value you wish to place upon it. Our stage ghost will then convey your message live to Dr. Hal, and he will answer in the manner that only Dr. Hal can. Don't worry, we never sell, share, or solicit using your provided email address. PayPal will ensure that your valuable love offering goes directly to Dr. Hal. Links to submit questions and more can be found at our website, AskDrHalShow.com. Do not let this opportunity to consult a modern-day oracle, a seer for seers, a man steeped in the arts, sciences, and esoteric studies, pass you by. We present to you, through the very miracle of the internet itself, the one and only Dr. Hal Robins, now making house calls.
And it works.
Greetings, Pontius Pressure.
Greetings, Dr. Hal. Welcome back. I understand you have been traveling.
I did travel, and I have returned from that, a little the worse for wear, but ready to engage with the show.
You sounded terrible earlier this week. You were in rough shape. Dr. Hal's had the flu or some
strange epizootus picked up on the travels.
Humans, we're filthy. You never know what you'll catch from us.
Yes.
So, no, and so much more. Anyway,
well,
we have
if I display a trace of it, that is the reason why, if anyone is interested, one must deal with these things on one's own, of course.
If Dr. Hal turns his head and cough, he's not having a health physical. Has the flu. So,
all right.
In any event, we have a show, and it's winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year.
Let's hope it doesn't feel like it.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I hope we make it shorter for everyone.
We'll make it shorter, at least by the length of this show.
Wow.
We have a lot planned to come out in the coming year. Actually, we do our homework ahead of time, and we always hope to please you with what we bring before you.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff, shifting, changing, evolving. We've come a long way, I think, in 5 years. And we try not to keep everything the same all the time. We don't want it to be one of those, morning drive shows where it's the same show every morning.
This is episode 55. Even so.
Well, but Hal, this is called the Ask Dr. Hal show. So that would mean we probably have some questions for you.
I'm glad that people are still willing to ask and tolerate what replies I'm able to provide.
Look, Hal, I have to listen to this show all the time. You do give some very good answers. I mean, I have to say, as someone who probably spends more time listening to this show than any human being alive, you do give good answers. So, audience, take advantage of that. Here he is. Dr. Hal himself, the Howling Owl, the keeper of secrets for the Church of the Subgenius. Get your questions in. What an opportunity. What a Christmas present to give to yourself. And I'm starting to sound like public television's, fundraiser dude. So I'm going to go to the question screen. Here we go.
Very good. You have them mixed at random, or have you carefully placed them in order?
I'm going to spin the wheels. Let me see what we have here.
All right.
I have a $30 question, Dr. Hal.
Good heavens. All
yes,
right.
Indeed. It is from Dr. Billy himself, our very own Dr. Billy. Let me see. Dr. Hal, is the conspiracy self-aware, Or is it really a mindless blob intent on absorbing everything in its path?
Well, the conspiracy, as we in the Church of the Subgenius define it, is everything outside the Church of the Subgenius itself. Everything, in other words, that intends to impede the work that we do. And it is worth noting that the word conspiracy itself comes from the Latin con, meaning with, and the verb spero, which is the verb to breathe, as in inspiration, respiration. In other words, members of a conspiracy breathe together. They think alike. Now, are they in communication and planning each atrocity which may be laid at their door? We would not say that, but since they are all like each other, their response and their actions are also like each other. We, in the Church of the Subgenius, are motivated differently. We are searching for slack. Slack is what every subgenius demands and must have, and it means slack time, your personal time, time not spent toiling for the conspiracy, to buy and sell, to engage and lay waste one's days in getting and spending, but rather the blessed solitude, which is the blissful reward of J.R. Bob Dobbs. So the conspiracy is opposed. Their awareness, such as it may be sentience, but is not sapience. It is a sort of animal feeling, and it dislikes to be contradicted. But again, we in the Church thrive on contradictions, on opposites being reconciled. And so I would say that the conspiracy is what it is, and we are what we are. Two things different. Besides which, even Bob embraces Connie, his number one wife. It is necessary to be within the influence of the conspiracy, since it surrounds us all. But the trick, and perhaps even the joy, is not to partake of it unconsciously. Dr. Billy, I hope you liked that answer, and your emolument was generous. So here is a poem by James Wright called Saint Judas. When I went out to kill myself, I found a pack of hoodlums beating up a man. Running to spare his suffering, I forgot my name, my number, how my day began, how soldiers gathered round the garden stone and sang amusing songs, how all that day their javelins measured crowds, how I alone bargained the proper coins and crept away. Banished from heaven, I found this victim beaten, stripped, kneed, and left to cry. Dropping my rope aside, I ran, ignored the uniforms. Then I remembered bread my flesh had eaten, the kiss that ate my heart. Flayed without hope, I held the man for nothing in my arms.
Beautiful, Hal. I have here a $12 question.
Oh, really?
Yes, indeed. It is from Pinks. I'm not sure we've had a question from Pinks before, but if so,
how is that
welcome.
spelled? Can you tell me how it is spelled? Pinks?
Pinks.
Well, very well.
And It is when we set the organic being, able to wield the machine it spun and bearing the weight of law and custom, against the being that has cast off all bonds and glides with ease through the cosmos, like that guiding star wowing all in its crossing, which bears the greater slack. Would you like me to reread that?
No, I believe I have the question in mind now, though sometimes I get lost in the labyrinthine quality of my own answer, and on such occasions I may need to be reminded of the question. But the two beings mentioned by Pinks are the earth-bound one and the starry one of the cosmos. And the earth one has moisture, life, organic identity, and breath, and seeks always for relief of a kind. It may be a physical relief, and it may be a mental relief, since all the sublunary actions require energy and need periods of recuperation. But this starry post-lunar wanderer of the cosmos is largely unfamiliar to us. We can only see it in the context of our imaginative faculty, but we do see it, and there's something to be seen. As William Blake said, everything which is possible to be believed is an image of truth, and yet we do not know whether above the lunar orbit they or it revels in pure slack, such as we hope for below, or is totally apart from the human thirst and need for slack. It was slack and its search that drove our ancestors, the Yetinsin, in the early days, in the cradle of human development, to starry wanderers of necessity, giving the vast distances and sidereal allowances that are provided. It does not stand the comparison. Only by speculating can we put a finger on the answer. And since we are not really accustomed to nosing around somebody else's backyard, here, while we cultivate our own gardens, we will award ourselves as a human and subgenius characteristic the patent, if you will, or corner on the search for slack.
Very good, Dr. Hal. Well, you know, we have come to that point in our show where A, we need to remind the audience that the name of the show is Ask Dr. Hal. So
yes, you must ask.
Get some questions in. Come on, folks. We've got a queue out there just waiting for you. It's a U queue. Get them in.
Yo, hopper. And as long as the questions come in, we can persist until we reach the end of the show, at which point, if there is still any thirst for it, we would like to invite you all to join us in our after-show chat room. But let's see what the next question is that comes scuttling down the pike in our direction.
Actually, Dr. Hal, I think it might be a good time to go to our first bit here. We have We have a performance by our very own subgenius band. These guys are fantastic. Rubix Pube. And somehow, I don't know how we did it. It just sort of happened holistically, but we wound up with a bug Christmas this time around. We have, of course, the Starovich animation that we started with, and this is called Bug Thunderdome. But audience, while it plays, get some questions into Dr. Hal. He's itching to answer them. Come on, it's Christmas. Make it rain. Don't make it snow at Christmas. Make it rain. So, with that, Dr. Hal, here's Rubik's Pube, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
You're listening to WBZZ The Buzz, and I'm your pest with the best, DJ Fitchily, bringing you from the driveway to the highway, and reminding you that caller 23 who says the phrase that's phrased will win a hefty bag full of hot garbage. You lights will think this next one it's nice. It's Rubix Pube with Bug Thunderdome.
I did not realize that was out of center until we saw the credits, so I apologize for that. We will show it again in a future show. We apologize. That was a little weird, but I think the audience got the gist.
If music be the food of love, play on.
But we have questions in the queue. Dr. Hal, are you ready?
Let's see.
Let me see over here. Let me spin the wheels. Let me really spin those wheels. Oh, okay, there we go. We've got some things here. All right, we have... Now, you know what, Hal? This is a $21 question, and actually, I do believe there's a couple of sub-geniuses involved with this, and there was supposed to be a video question, but I looked high and low, and I did not find the video.
Perhaps it slipped out through the interstices, but you know, if you send us something and we do recover it, we pledge to show it at a future iteration of the show.
And if you do get me that video, I will play it on the January show as well, and Dr. Hal can readdress it perhaps if the video will help.
Why not? That gives me
clarify
two
the question.
chances to formulate a response.
Right. So, but in any event, this is from our very good friend Griffin, and AgriJag also has his hand in this, but this is a $21 question, and I'll read you what Griffin said here. He says, for my video question, if you sue, it's okay. If not, all enlightenment to the great Dr. Hal. And he also says, thanks, Pressure, for doing Diaspora way back. It has been really impactful. Well, you're more than welcome, and I'm glad you got some benefit out of that. And let me go back here, because AgriJag actually has the question. And he threw $20 in the queue. So technically, this is a $41 question, Dr. Hal.
Good heavens.
And he says, you should have the video from Griffin. Sorry. Asking my question, so here's the love offering to go with it. If you don't have the video for some reason, here's the question. If all roads lead to Rome, how the hell did I get stuck in the suburbs?
Well, all roads lead to Rome, or once did. In a sense, it does, because Rome and its type of civil and military organization is the nucleus of the civilization of the West. And the Romans themselves were expert road builders, knowing that this was the secret of interconnection to make the way back and forth easy. Many of their roads survive today. But when one travels, whatever destination one has in mind, it is often the case that you get hung up in some roadside attraction or some town a little off the road that you never intended to encounter, but having done so, find an unusually entertaining and valuable reward there. And if you are stuck in such a place, perhaps it is intended to be. Perhaps it is helping you when the major city on the 7 hills might present a blank face by comparison. There's nothing that proves that, in a spiritual sense, is not your ultimate destination, but life allows for many diversions and detours. Some consider the moment to be in the journey, and others in the complications which ensnare, tangle us, and perhaps enchant us on the way. Such a generous emolument. So here is a poem about a journey by T.S. Eliot, and a Christmas poem also, The Journey of the Magi. A cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of year for a journey, and such a long journey. The ways deep, and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter, and the camels galled, slow-footed, refractory, lying down in the melting snow. There were times we regretted the summer palaces on slopes, the terraces, the silken girls bringing sherbet. Then the camelmen running away and wanting their liquor and women, and the night fires going out, and the lack of shelter, the cities hostile, the towns unfriendly, and the villages dirty and charging high prices. A hard time we had of it. In the end, we preferred to travel all night, sleeping in snatches, with a voice ringing in our ears that this was all folly. Then, at noon, we came down to a little narrow valley, wet below the snow line, with a running stream and a watermill beating the darkness, and 3 trees on the low sky, and an old white horse galloped away in the meadow. Then we came to a tavern with vine leaves over the lintel, 6 hands at an open door dicing for pieces of silver, and feet kicking the empty wineskins. But there was no information. And so we continued, arriving that evening, not a moment too soon, finding the place. It was, you may say, satisfactory. All this I am telling you was a long, long time ago, and I would do it again. But set down this. Were we led all that way for birth or death? I had seen birth and death before, but had thought they were different. There was a birth. We had evidence and no doubt. This birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like death, our death. We returned to our places, these kingdoms, yet no longer at ease here in the old dispensation, with an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death.
Beautiful, Dr. Hal. Dr. Hal, I have a $5 question, but from a very, very valuable human being, our very good friend, Professor Gofflin.
Oh, wow.
And I want to throw that in now because she did come in briefly to visit. I should mention, everyone, Reverend Gofflin is traveling. So that's why you don't see her here with us tonight. We do, however, have some offerings from Professor Gofflin later in the show.
Well, I understood she was in transit. You say she popped in for a bit?
She popped in briefly. She may or may not still be here, so I'm going to squeeze her question in. It is a $5 question, and it is Happy Holidays, Dr. Hal. Do you have a favorite carol or standard?
Well, I have to say that I am not fond of the more commercial type of Christmas carols. I mean, such things as Frosty the Snowman, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and that ilk. These are inauthentic, in my view, and smarmy, reeking of Madison Avenue, and of the desperation of Tin Pan Alley. But the older ones I do like. They are hoary with veneration and age. Good King Wenceslas is a good one. I think God Rest Ye Merry, Gentlemen, you notice the comma in there, just happens to be my favorite, and will soothe the anguished nerves that incessant repetition of Jingle Bells or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer might produce. Come All Ye Faithful or Adeste Fideles is another good one. The ones that are honed and polished by time. Just a personal preference, but thank you for asking.
I have to say, and I'm not sure it's actually a Christmas song. I think it was actually more of a bawdy tavern song back in its day, as Greensleeves. It's probably one of my favorites. Of course,
well, it was a Renaissance song. Of course, often songs are given to a familiar melody, and then over time, those lyrics become the accepted ones.
Yeah, I felt a little silly, requesting that from the classical station in the middle of summer.
Did they sneer at you, or did they comply with your request?
Well, no, they understand it's really not a Christmas song, that it's been kind of co-opted as one, but it's,
And there's Tom Larere's Christmas song. That was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, not to be Debbie Downer, but he passed away this year, didn't he, Tom Lehrer?
Yeah, he did, and I was sorry to see him go. On the other hand, I must admit that I was surprised to find that he was still alive, since in my childhood I was playing his music, and generally people like that tend to be long gone. So, as a mathematics professor, as well as a mordant song lyricist and performer, he had a fine career.
Yeah, and a wonderful humorist. A lot of memorable
Yes.
stuff he put out. But you know how we have our first monster movie moment. It's our only monster movie moment this month, and
Ah,
well, and with it being Christmas, we thought we'd show an animated family feature this time around.
yes, my family would love it, but others might, well, we'll see.
And there is a question that accompanies this, kind of from the House of Pressure, that I'll pass along to you a little later. But I think it's an important question that we have to ask ourselves in these days of being unsure about everything that's going on. So,
That's a healthy condition. One
but
shouldn't be too sure about anything that's going on.
precisely. But in any event, let me go ahead and bring this monster movie moment in. But audience, come on, put the questions in. It's Christmas. It's Dr. Hal. What more could you ask for? It's the winter solstice. It's the longest, coldest, darkest night of the year. So here we are, all gathered together in the warmth of the hearth that is Dr. Hal. How's that for hyperbole, Dr. Hal? Am I
I
getting
only
it
wish
down
it were
yet?
more accurate. I mean, as far as the temperature is concerned.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. It's a little chilly here. It's actually not too bad. 36 here in Dover, Delaware currently.
That's pretty brisk.
It's
Of
chilly.
course, when I was in New York, it was -1 degrees.
Yeah, it's cold. Anyway, folks, here's our monster movie moment, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
What the hell?
And
There we are.
so, a monster movie moment.
Yeah. Eh oui. That movie, we have watched it here several times. Professor Gofflin referred to it, and I think it's a very good description. Gateway horror. It is the thing that we use to introduce our children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews to
Yes,
the genre.
the nose of the camel under the tent for the wee ones to be escorted into the world of horror.
It starts with a little puff, and the next thing you know, you're mainlining horror.
An admirable situation.
Mainline horror. There you go. We have a $50 question, Dr. Hal.
Good Lord.
And audience, look, I want to say too, the $50 questions are as important as the $5 questions. Do not think that the size of your love offering is any less appreciated, but I gotta say, the $50 ones are awfully nice. So are the $30 ones, the $20 ones, the $5 ones. I like them all. But the important thing is that you get them in and put a little love offering on that question for Dr. Hal. But the $50
we
question,
equal to them when asked.
the $50 question though, is from our very good friend Lady 'Cause I Can. And it says, Marry X less list less ness mess. I think I got that right.
Existless
Ex-
mass. Yes, that is so.
I'll practice. My question, why not?
Well, often we have received the question in the question answering business, why? To which the readily summoned answer is because. And this is also the answer to why not, which is simply the mirror of the question why. But there is no reason to hold back, unless what one considers is perhaps something which will send out ripples of danger and destruction, and ultimately redound to the experimenter. Here is a perilous realm of inquisitiveness. For example, Victor Frankenstein, a remarkable genius, was reprimanded, and yet it is often said that his sin was he meddled in God's domain, or in things that should be left alone. But no, that is not what the author, Mary Shelley, intended. He is, after all, a victor. He has triumphed over death, but his sin, she believed and did show in her novel, for those who read it closely, was indifference to his creation once he set it in motion. He allowed it to wander away and become an outcast, subject to the miseries of existence with no parental feeling or guidance. And so when one says, why not, one is, in a sense, refining the question why by contemplating possible negative things which might result from being a bold inquisitor into the mysteries and the arcana of the universe. This is by William Shakespeare. Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and ta'en thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, like chimney sweepers, come to dust. Fear no more the frown of the great, thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat, to thee the reed is as the oak, the sceptre, learning, physic, must all follow this and come to dust. Fear no more the lightning flash, or the all-dreaded thunderstone. Fear not slander, censure rash, thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exorciser harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee. Ghosts unlaid forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee. Quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave.
Beautiful, Dr. Howe. I have more questions for you. Audience, we always have room. Like I say, it's like Jell-O. There's always room for more questions. Let me see. I have a question here from, this is a $25 question, Dr. Howe, from our very good friend AgriJag. And, oh, no, I take that back. No, it's a $25 question from our very good friend, Ian Lawless Moth.
Oh, all right.
And let me see here. View the details. There we go. Happy holidays, Dr. Hal. By the way, is the sub-G holiday Slackmas or Xmas? Less mass. Or both? Or is it both?
It may be both, depending on how an individual subgenius wishes to celebrate it. It is certain that at the end of the year, we need a holiday, and Christmas was set in place to displace the pagan holiday, which was in that slot before. Let me see. Remind me again of the question. It's important to do that, I fear. Can you
Of
tell
course,
me?
Dr. Hal. Yes, I can. It is
Is
the sub-G holiday, is it Slackmas or is it Xless?
I'd say Slackmas, because I myself started this existlessness mass, since many are disappointed that so far the exists have apparently not put in an appearance. But we have heard from our own Trixie von Mothersbaugh of the overwhelming likelihood that the true X Day, the true July 5th, 1998, will be this year, or failing that, next year. And the chain of reasoning that produced this idea is a beautiful thing to behold. Nonetheless, Slackmas is good. It indicates a certain domestic comfort and familiarity, slack in one's familiar surroundings and among one's loved ones. And rather than being a complaint about the lack of extraterrestrial succor from our predicament, it is an affirmation of how we enjoy the state of being subgeniuses itself. This is by Dylan Thomas. This bread I break was once the oat. This wine upon a foreign tree plunged in its fruit. Wine in the day, or man at night, laid the crops low, broke the bread's joy. Once in this wine the summer blood knocked in the flesh that decked the vine. Once in this bread the oat was merry in the wind. Man broke the sun, pulled the wind down. This flesh you break, this blood you drink, make desolation in the vein. Are oat and grape born of the sensuous blood and sap? My wine you drink, my bread you snap.
Very good, Dr. Hal. I have, now, I was going to read Reverend Xenofac's question, but I'm going to hold that off because it has a tie-in to our next bit that we're going to play. So instead, I'm going to give you an $11 question from our very good friend Duck Mandu. And the question is, are you dressing warm, taking your vitamins, remembering to wash behind your ears? I do worry so.
Well, thank you, sir. I am doing all those things, particularly since I have a touch of illness about me. Yes, it is at those times that one toes the line the most. But I thank you for your concern and solicitude. And after all, if one doesn't watch out, one may spread one's problems farther and to others, and this we do not wish to do. What was the emolument with that particular question?
That was an $11 question, Dr. Hal.
Well, that was welcome, and we appreciate it. So what can I say, except perhaps to add the limerick by Edward Gorey. Each night, Father fills me with dread when he sits at the foot of my bed. It's not just that he speaks, but in gibbers and squeaks. But for 17 years, he's been dead. Thank you for your question.
I have a $15 question from our very good friend, Reverend Xenofact.
Yes.
And it is, and this is a lead-in question too. Dr. Hal, if you had to haunt a miserly wealthy bastard to make him change his ways, which ghost would you be? Christmas past, present, or future? That's a good question.
Well, yes, but it would depend on which miserly bastard I, in my ectoplasm form, would be visiting, because the punishment must fit the crime and the criminal. And I'm searching my memory to see if there's anyone I hold in such lack of regard, anyone, that is, who I know personally. There are many political figures one would like to deliver some sort of a supernatural reprimand to. So, who do I know who would like to be scared, and how would I appear? The most frightening thing to me is all the opportunities that I have had which I did not take advantage of, with all the mistakes I made, which, if they had not existed, would have given me much ease and pleasure in this life. But one can go skittering down the endless corridors of regret to no particular purpose, and we must be content to enjoy the fact that occasionally we did win one. In fact, this attitude might promote more winning in the future, without the nervousness, fear, and apprehension that one might be ready to perform a flopperoo. Anyway, I haven't mentioned a malfeasor, but I think it's whether I would be the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, or Christmas future. Possibly Christmas future. The future may need our loving attention most of all, and I hope that we always retain the option to be generous in that regard. Here is a poem by William Blake called A Poison Tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow, and I watered it with fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles, and with false, deceitful wiles, and it grew both day and night, till it formed an apple bright, and for my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine, and into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree.
Beautiful, Hal. Well, we have a $10 gift from our very good friend Professor Trixie, and she says, I just want to pay a question forward. Happy holidays. So $10 from Professor Trixie.
Well, they are made happier by that, and thank you, Professor Trixie. $10 happier. Every little bit helps here to one who lives in genteel poverty, as one hopes.
Hal is the true starving artist, ladies and gentlemen. So.
Well, I'm obviously not starving. I mean, but.
Hey! Let me handle this, Hal.
Oh, well, all right.
Anyway, I have we have a very special guest coming up, and in the tradition of the season, ghost stories. I love ghost stories myself, and it's become apparent to me in the last several years that ghost stories are very traditional at the Christmas season. With the Christmas Carol and all of those things. But the ghost story itself, and for that this month, we have a very special offering. John Shirley did a reading for us, and I took John's reading and played with it a little bit, and we have the results here coming up shortly. So,
this is from his new book called Ghost Confessions.
It is available at a bookstore near you. So find somebody, not necessarily, a big guy. Buy it from a little guy if you can find a little guy to buy it from, but buy it nonetheless. So here it is. Folks, get those questions in. We always have room in the queue. And here's John Shirley, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Notice there's a crack in the ceiling. I don't think the thing that's up there will drip through the crack before I'm done. If it does, I apologize for what you will see. He shares the crowded house that is my skull, the only guest who does not dissipate. The others fade as if a daydream troll, but he sojourns and always watching waits. He nods and smiles when I lash out at you. With pleasure he rewards my worst instincts. He dizzies truth, and so falsehood seems more true. He covers up dark sources of the links. Not guest and not a stranger now is he. I've known him always, and a fading night. From trauma nurtured I my enmity, laughed bitterly when hope rayed from my sight. Then, one hot night, I breathe my final rasp. I see him use the doorway of my gasp. Not yet, not yet. It'll be all right. Memento mori. His eyes are white light ceiling bulbs, his teeth syringe needles. He's attended by a retinue of shiny scarab beetles. I stood a-teetering on the gleaming vacuum brink, where you fall with the weight of any thought you think, where laughing things rise to fine they sink, and white on white is the color of my ink. I didn't pass through the tunnel passed through me, and death will always come unseasonably. Memento mori, remember death. I recall it, yes and yes. I bargained with that smug, smiling merchant of rest. Though that time has passed, I pretend we've never met. But what hasn't happened will happen yet. I don't taunt the lion, nor will I walk the edge. I withdrew from the void, shivering past the ledge. But every morning when I wake, I see the shadow smile. I know that it is but his whim to smirk and bide a while. Oh, not yet, not yet. The hours when the shadows writhe. I strolled along a twisting lane on the day when summer slain, and came upon a sunken-cheeked old man. 'Twas eremite of rister root, gnawing an unlit cheroot, capering with ominous elan. Young man, look thee, heed ye, look ye, the writhing shadows of the trees, like pond larvae of mosquitoes, There is no wind a-stirring, no birds above us whirring, to spur a living black graffito. These shadows but foreshadow, like dancing, jeering scarecrows, and hint at their fell intention. They rise in flurries of black steam for a foul, predacious scheme, as they take up a new dimension. But hark and hear the thumping, lopsided, thunking, bumping, as the shadows worm within your very ears. Come back, young man, don't scurry. There's no point, no hope, no hurry, for the writhers are now part of you, I fear. Angry angel. Standing in a subway station, I guess it was 2 a.m. I was one living thing there. I can't be sure of him. The man stepped out of shadow, coming with shimmering steps. His smile like the equal sign in the math between life and death, or like a sign from a tarot deck, or painting on a pyramid wall, like the hum underneath a temple chant, like the caller when you hear the call. The time has nearly come, son. The time has nearly come. That's what he said. Everyone will make a choice, son. The time has nearly come. Dressed in a tux, if you expected one, in black leather, if that was your thing. In either outfit, he carried a gun holstered under a wing. He spoke to me like a deep freeze wind. He spoke with austerity. He spoke of all the masks of sin. He spoke with asperity. He spoke with 1,000 voices, and he mentioned you. He spoke finally of choices and how angels protect the truth. The time has nearly come, son. The time has nearly come. Everyone will make a choice, son. The time has nearly come. He appeared to me and 1,000 more and 1,000 others. He appeared to children and to the unborn and to the children's mothers. He summoned a music that seemed alive and the beat of a prescient drum. The angel dark who serves the light says, the time has nearly come. The time has nearly come, son. The time has nearly come. Everyone will make a choice, son. The time has nearly come. Oh dear. Oh dear,
Yeehaw!
A very interesting book of poems by John Shirley. And you may notice that he writes in traditional rhymes and meter. And in his introduction, he points out that one problem with today's generally meterless and rhymeless verse is its lack of energy. And when one uses those traditional forms, it gives energy that propels the poem forward. But we always welcome his contributions to our show and hope that there will be more in the future.
Well, you know what, Hal? Funny you should mention that, because we've got more contribution. We have a $50 question from Reverend Shirley himself.
Good Lord.
And, I'm sorry, it's a $30 question. $30 question.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, let me open it up here. Could the planets of our solar system and the solar systems of our galaxy be part of an unspeakably, unthinkably gigantic and very, 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 very slow game of cosmic pool? A billiards sort of thing played by titanic, invisible beings.
Well, that is interesting. Of course, classic science fiction of the magazine era has had stories where the atomic world is revealed to be microscopic quantum solar systems, such as the famous story of the girl in the golden atom. And I remember there's a wonderful John Cheever story called The Devil, George, and Rosie, where all of the stellar matter turns out to be the component parts of a student who has been abandoned by his girlfriend and is lifting a glass of beer to his lips. A glass of beer, and the act of lifting taking eons of our time. Well, it would be wrong of me to say decisively that such a thing could not be, but realistically I have to say that whether it is or whether it is not occurs far above us in the realm of size, scale, and especially time. One problem about the girl in the golden atom is if you go down and visit her subatomic world, if you ever come out, eons will have passed down there, if only minutes up here. So it is comfortable to speculate on such vast things because, although they may intrigue us, they cannot possibly, in any practical sense, concern us. Pardon me. So, although my throat is showing the ravages of whatever I've got, I will follow this with a poem. A poem called "And Death Shall Have No Dominion" by Dylan Thomas. And death shall have no dominion. Dead men, naked, they shall be one with the man in the wind and the west moon. When their bones are picked clean and the clean bones gone, they shall have stars at elbow and foot. Though they go mad, they shall be sane. Though they sink through the sea, they shall rise again. Though lovers be lost, love shall not, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. Under the windings of the sea, they, lying long, shall not die windily, twisting on racks till sinews give way. Strapped to a wheel, yet they shall not break. Faith in their hands shall snap in two, and the unicorn evils run them through. Split all ends up, they shan't crack, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. No more shall gulls cry in their ears, or waves break loud on the sea shore. Where blew a flower, may a flower no more lift its head to the blows of the rain. Though they go mad and dead as nails, heads of the character hammer through daisies, break in the sun till the sun breaks down, and death shall have no dominion.
Beautiful, Dr. Hal. Let me see. I have a $3 question here for you. We love those $3 questions. They're just this little, it's like the first snowflakes of winter. It's just lovely.
The first drop of rain on the parched desert.
Oh.
The first 3 drops.
What are the most common ways, and this is from our friend Corky, by the way, what are the most common ways that the average subgenius accidentally, voluntarily gives up their own slack?
Well, to be human is to feel empathy, and those who do not feel empathy may therefore be classified, at best, as something less than human. And how noble it is to give up one's slack for another. Is it transferable? It may be. C.S. Lewis believed in the doctrine of co-inherence, that one could even take into oneself the pain that another is suffering. Simply because we are smart alecky, smarmy subgeniuses does not mean that we are absent of these noble feelings, feelings which enrich and uplift the condition of being human.
Very good, Dr. Hal. I have a $35 question, Dr. Hal. And let me open it up here. It is from our very, very good friend, Dr. Wolfgang Amadeus Gotthardammerung, who sent me, by the way, a lovely bunch of books recently.
Really?
In return for a thank you for some swag that we sent him, which is it's absolutely lovely.
Would you name for us some of the titles?
Well, I wanted to mention them. I have one of them right here. I have all four of them right here, by the way. This is one of them. And it wasn't until I sat down to start reading it that I noticed something very cool about this. He himself was the interpreter of this work. He did all the interpretation work. He did all the putting it into English. So that, I think, is Dr. Wolfgang Amadeus Gotthardammerung. My jaw is just dropped. I am so impressed. And this is four of them, and I think there's more. So lovely stuff, and a beautiful translation. So well, very impressive. I was quite impressed. So, Dr. Hal, here is the question. It's $35. And where is Krampus's base of operations, i.e. Santa Claus and the North Pole?
Well, we must consider the South Pole, the wastes of the Antarctic, as the probable home for this frightening Christmas demon in which the Germans take such palpable delight. After all, having him hang around the posited happy workshop of Santa Claus would be a damper on the industrious activity of the elvish helpers of Santa Claus. This workshop, which we have often seen depicted, is somewhat like an insect hive, where the large insect form controls the scurrying smaller forms, similar in appearance but in reduced size. But the Krampus, like his satanic progenitor, is a solitary operator, building up rage in solitude. And so, to avoid a visit from this character, any activity, and particularly any good activity, is worthwhile. I think it was last Christmas that we showed a wonderful Krampus film, and perhaps we'll show it again at some future Christmas time. The Last Oblivion by Clark Ashton Smith. Not though the woods are redolent of spring, and scentless immortelles of autumn blow, shall I evade your loveliness, or know surcease of love, and love's remembering, but haply wandering worlds and cycles hence through unforeseen fantastic avatars, I will forget you in the future stars, and take of time an alien recompense, till in some strange and latter planet wrought with molten shards and meteor dust of this, my hand shall pluck an unsuspected bloom that lifts again the scarlet of your kiss, and I shall muse and linger, knowing not the love that perished like a lost perfume.
Very good, Dr. Hal. I have an $8 question here from Reverend Dr. Big John. Hey, Dr. Big
great.
John.
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, where will Slack be found? Please.
Well, I suppose I can say with even some confidence that in 2026, Slack will be found in reminiscing about what we all went through in 2025 and the preceding years, if we have managed to surmount the corruption and destruction of that time. Then we will be as one who watches a great disaster from a distance and is comforted by the fact that it occurs to others, in this case our previous selves, and not to us. And this is the best I can wish for, given the circumstances.
I think it'll all eventually maybe work out. I am hopeful.
Yes, the maybe that is the troublesome aspect.
I am hopeful. But, hey, Hal, it's always darkest before the dawn, man. So here
That's
we go.
true, and yet it might alternatively be said it's always darkest before it goes completely pitch black. We will see. The future is fortunately unknown.
We sub-geniuses are not known for our motivational posters. But certainly not for the workplace.
We don't want someone to make some. Some enterprising sub-genius might make a rallying poster for us.
Gofflin and I were talking the other day, and I think it was community. The other C word was the poster we came up with. So we were giggling over that. But in any event, I have a couple more questions. But you know what? I think we're going to go to we have you have a final recitation for tonight, but we're going to come back because we have some other things before the end of the show. So let's go ahead and do that recitation that we have prepared for everyone this evening.
Very well. It is a traditional poem that everyone is familiar with, but all the more reason to insert it here.
And it's a beautiful piece. It was one of my favorite poems as a child, so I will be enjoying it. But audience, we're going to come back. We have a couple more questions in the queue, so don't worry if you've got stuff out there. We're going to come back and read a few more questions. But here we go. And but if you have questions, please feel free to get them in the queue. We always have room, and we'll answer them before the night is out. And here we go. We'll see you in a minute. There's the button right there. Be sure to join us next month, January 18th, 2026, for an all-new Ask Dr. Hal Show Home Edition. Think of your questions now. The doctor will be waiting. Links to this evening's after-show meet and greet will be given in the Twitch chat in our upcoming segment. We hope to see you there after the show.
A visit from St. Nicholas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mamma, in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew in a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a lustre of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the house, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his gestures, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held, clenched in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a round face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a nod of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to the sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down from the thistle. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Clement Clark Moore.
We're back. We have a couple more questions in the queue, Dr. Hal. Let's go ahead and see what we have here. I'm going to spin those wheels again. And
it's interesting that poem was written to fill up space in the newspaper by newspaper editor Clement Clark Moore. And speaking of propulsive energy, it gets some of that by being anapestic rather than iambic. Rather than a tick-tock, 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 it goes da-da-da, 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 which seems to give it some of its charm. Do you recognize any familiar names in these last 3 questions?
Well, we have another question here from Corky, and we have a question here from The Wolf Who Loves You.
Oh.
So, and let me see. I think I have a third. I may have misreported that to you. No, we have 2. We have 2 more questions in the queue, but let me spin it again because one never knows. Let's go ahead and let me read that Corky question for you. We'll save The Wolf Who Loves You for the next question. This is a $3 question, Dr. Hal, and is what foods have the most slack?
One's favorite foods have the most slack. Therein, the patient must minister to him or herself. You see, to some, it could be a salty bag snack from a convenience mart, if that is what one craves, or it could be the exquisite productions of a French sous chef, depending on what one desires. And what one desires may be what is not available, what hangs like the grapes of Tantalus, forever out of reach. But to discover at that point that it is not out of reach, that you do happen to have some delicious leftover food, or a bag of zesty potato chips, if that's what you crave, then slack floods in and may not be kept out.
Very good. And for that question from the wolf that loves you, let me open it up here. It is a $5 question, Dr. Hal. And it is, Dr. Hal, I know you're a man of poeticness. Do you know, perhaps, the Laughing Heart poem by Charles Bukowski? If so, is it the best poem in any category for telling of the human spirit of hardship and not the willingness of giving up? Please get well soon.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't have that one to memory as I do the others, and I'm unable to recapitulate it here for you. But I shall learn it and prepare it at a future performance of this show, perhaps our next one in January 18th of 2026. And I do admire Mr. Bukowski and his works and have enjoyed them. So, being set forth on this path, I willingly embrace it and the responsibility I have now accepted.
Let me see here. I'm going to spin the wheels. That looks like the last question in the queue, Dr. Hal.
Phoo, I wish I'd known that poem. I would love to give it. The Laughing Heart, you say? Is the name
yes,
of it?
That's what it was. Yes, The Laughing Heart.
All right.
The Laughing Heart poem by Charles Bukowski. That is correct.
All right.
Well, Dr. Hal, that we're almost to the end of our show, but we do have one important thing, and it's kind of a sad moment. We lost a good friend of the show and an early contributor. And someone that we very much liked, and I've met him. I got a chance to hang out with him at a festival, and it's I'm sorry that he's left us, and that's Reverend Bender. So we do have a little tribute coming up here for the end of the show, so please do stick around.
Kind of Bender's best moments, is that the sort of thing?
Well, best moments that we have.
Yes.
But I saw him in person. He taught Joyce how to bend a spike that was the size of my index finger.
Wow.
And Joyce put her heart into it too, I'll tell you what. But she managed to bend it, and Bender showed her how to do it, but there is some physics involved with what he did, but there's also a lot of skill and strength and all of that. So folks,
not just physical strength, but inner strength from this famed subgenius strongman.
So join us, for remembering Reverend Bender here at the end of the year. And that's pretty much what we have, though, for tonight, Dr. Hal. So our next show, as you said, is January the 18th. And I have put the, the link for the after show chat in the chat, but I'm going to put it in again. And the Wolf Who Loves You says, thank you, Dr. Hal. And there is that link again in the chat. Dr. Hal, you have it over there and also in your email.
Yes.
And let's see. Yeah, Dr. Billy says Rev Bender was a for real good person, and I happen to agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
Anyway, here we go, folks. It was a great show, and glad you could join us tonight. Happy holidays from all of us at the Dr. Hal Show. May all your holiday dreams come true, whatever they are. And that's all we have. And we'll see you in the after show chat. And if not, we'll see you January 18th. And also the show will be up on YouTube and archive.org here within the week. So look for it there too. If you missed anything, you didn't miss a thing. So folks, that's all we got. Dr. Hal, good night. We'll see you in a few minutes.
That is right.
And everyone else, let me see you in a few minutes too. Here we go.
Here you see 10 men. What I have now is an 11-inch aluminum Teflon coated frying pan. Hey everybody, I have a 22-ounce framing hammer. Hi all. Today, doing something slightly different. I have a pair of wrist cuffs and a combination lock. Thank you. Hi. Today, a vintage 2015 Chicago Yellow Pages. Stay strong.
Hey, I wanted to break with tradition here. We had a question, not really a question, more of a love offering roll in. It's a $100 love offering, Dr. Hal, from Reverend Couch Sloth.
Good heavens.
And yeah, so I did want to break in with this emergency announcement. It says the question is a gift. Hal may ask himself a question, or someone else may, or nothing at all. Merry Xlessness Mess from Reverend Couchsloth. So I wanted to pass that along to you, Dr. Hal.
Well, I'm not prepared to ask myself a question. Would you care to do the honors and ask me something?
You know, in light of some other things, there is a question I have, and it's kind of a serious one. we live in a time where our heroes are exposed, and we see a lot more of our heroes than we would want to see. And a lot of those heroes of late have been disappointing. And yet they've left a body of work that is, it's hard to deny that they have artistic merits, and yet their humanity fails them beyond their artistic pursuits. Dr. Hal, do you have some suggestions for how we should be looking at these sorts of things as the world feels like it's crumbling around us and we don't have heroes anymore?
Well, if our idols appear to have feet of clay, that may be because our method of being electronically connected tells us too much about them. They do not have the option, as previous individuals did, of presenting what they wished to be seen, apprehended, and experienced only, but instead are pelted, even tormented, by miscellaneous details sequestered from different information sources, and then, by virtue of the internet, flung at us and them. Once again, I, Dr. Howland Owl, advise the spirit of charity be employed. Think if you yourself happened to find yourself the victim of these bromides, and then perhaps you might be less inclined to feel that because in some minor matter not connected to the things which we justly know and celebrate these people for, you have perceived them to have fallen down. Remember, even if that is the case, those who fall down can often get up again if they are permitted to do so. And in this holiday end of year season, I urge that we allow such a mission of charity to proceed. This is by Yeats, if I can remember it. Or is it? Oh. I'm missing a word, so maybe I can't do that one. Oh well. Try something else by Dylan Thomas. This one. In my craft or sullen art, exercised in the still night, while only the moon rages and the lovers lie abed, with all their griefs in their arms, I labor by singing light. Not for ambition or bread, or for the strut and trade of charms on the ivory stages, but for the common wages of their most secret heart. Not for the proud man, apart from the raging moon, I write on these spindrift pages, nor for the towering dead with their nightingales and psalms, but for the lovers, their arms round the griefs of the ages, who pay no praise nor wages, nor heed my craft or art. Good night.
And good night, everybody. And listen, I'm going to be going back to our closing, and I'm going to fast forward. So give me just a minute. You're going to see me scrub through, and I'm going to go to the credits. So, folks, again, happy holidays, and Reverend Couchsaw, thank you for that very generous donation to Dr. Hal.
Yes, that's unexpected and kind.
Thank you. And folks, good night.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.